The camera opens on a big, shiny kitchen. Trays of food, boiling pots, staff running here and there. And in the middle, Mia stands in a glittering dress, shouting. Mia yells, "Eli, are you stupid? The sauce is ruined. Do you even know how much this party costs?" Eli, the cook, stands with his head down. His hands are shaking. His white apron has a small stain of sauce. Eli says softly, "Ma'am, the gas flame went high suddenly. I will fix it. Please, just give me." Mia cuts him off. "Enough. I am tired of your excuses. You are just a cook. There are 100 men like you outside this gate." The other staff look at the floor. No one dares to speak. Mia points at the door. "You're fired. Right now. Before my guests arrive. Get out." Eli's eyes fill with tears. He looks at the half-cooked food, at the staff, at the clock. Only 1 hour left before the party starts. He whispers, "Ma'am, I really need this job. My mother's medicine." Mia snaps, "Not my problem. Security, take him out." The guard walks toward Eli. The doorbell rings at the same time. The first rich guests have arrived. The party is about to start, and Mia has just fired the only cook. If you were in Eli's place, what would you do? Earlier that afternoon, the house was quiet. Eli came in with 2 heavy bags of vegetables. His old shoes were wet from the rain. His shirt was clean but faded. He had fixed it himself with small, careful stitches. He put the bags on the counter and smiled at the maid, Grace. Eli said, "Today is important. Big business deal, right?" Grace nodded. "Yes, important guests. Mr. Carter, the hotel owner. Everyone is nervous. Mia Madam wants everything perfect." Eli laughed softly. "Don't worry, we will make it perfect." He had been working there for 3 years. He knew every corner of the kitchen. He knew Mia's favorite dishes. He knew her husband Daniel's secret love for simple lentil soup. He also knew he could not afford to lose this job. His mother was sick. His little brother was in college. Every rupee he earned was already spent before it reached his hand. He took a deep breath and started cooking. The camera shows close shots. Onions frying in a pan. Steam rising from a pot. Eli's hands cutting vegetables fast, but steady. His forehead shining with sweat. By evening, the kitchen smelled amazing. Grace tasted the soup. Her eyes went wide. "Eli, this is so good." He smiled. "Good. Maybe today, Madam will also smile." But upstairs, Mia was not smiling. She looked at the decorations and frowned. "The flowers are not bright enough," she snapped at the decorator. "The lights are too dim. Why is nothing ever perfect in this house?" Daniel, her husband, walked in wearing a suit. He said gently, "Relax, Mia. Everything looks fine. The only thing guests really remember is food and respect." Mia rolled her eyes. "That's why I hired that cook. If he messes up, we look cheap." In the kitchen, the trouble started. One of the gas flames suddenly jumped high. The sauce pot boiled too fast. Some sauce spilled over. Eli rushed to turn the knob. Oh no! The sauce became a little thick. A little smoky. Mia walked in at that exact moment in her high heels. "What is this smell?" she shouted. Grace tried to speak. "Madam, the gas." Mia raised her hand to shut her up and walked straight to Eli. She grabbed a spoon, tasted the sauce, and made a face like she had tasted poison. "This is disgusting," she shouted. "Do you want to ruin my party?" Eli's heart dropped. "Ma'am, I can fix it. I will make a new batch. We still have." She threw the spoon into the sink. It made a loud, sharp sound. "You can't even make a simple sauce," Mia shouted. "People like you should be happy to stand in this kitchen. You are nobody. Do you know how many zeros are in this deal tonight?" Eli felt his chest tighten. His ears rang. He whispered, "I woke up at 5 a.m. to prepare for today. I bought fresh vegetables." Mia cut in, her voice colder now. "I don't care. You're fired. I don't want to see your face in my house again." Everyone froze. Grace's eyes filled with tears. "Madam, please, he works very hard. It was just a small." Mia glared at her. "Do you want to join him outside the gate?" Grace went silent. Eli's hands were shaking so much, he almost dropped the pan. He looked at Mia. At Daniel standing in the doorway, shocked. Eli swallowed and said, "Sir, please, I really need this job." Daniel opened his mouth to say something, but Mia spoke faster. "Daniel, don't start. We need professionals, not beggars." He goes, "Now." Daniel looked away, weak, silent. That hurt Eli more than the insult. Security came. They stood next to him. Eli removed his apron slowly. His eyes were wet, but he did not let the tears fall. He said softly, "Thank you for the opportunity, sir." Daniel did not answer. Eli walked toward the back door. The camera follows his slow steps. He steps out into the rain. The door closes behind him with a loud click. Inside, Mia clapped her hands and said, "All right, everyone, fix this mess. We have 1 hour." But no one moved, because there was no cook anymore, and someone else had watched everything from the kitchen door, without saying a word. What did that silent person see? And what will they do next? The sky outside turned dark. The house lit up with fairy lights. Expensive cars started stopping in front of the gate. Drivers opened doors. High heels touched the ground. Laughter, perfume, class. Inside, Mia was smiling now, her fake party smile. "Welcome, Mr. Carter," she said, hugging the main guest. "We are so honored." Mr. Carter was a calm, older man in a simple, expensive suit. His eyes were kind but sharp. Beside him stood his daughter, Lily. Lily whispered, "Dad, this is the house where the cook works, right? The one you told me about? You said his food is magic." Mr. Carter smiled. "Yes, Eli. I ate his food once when he was working for my friend's event. I was impressed. I was actually thinking." He paused, looking around. "I was actually thinking of offering him a better job," he said slowly. Lily smiled. "Then tonight is his big night." They walked in. In the kitchen, everything was falling apart. Trays half ready. Meat not seasoned. Desserts not finished. Grace looked around with panic. "What do we do now?" Daniel walked in, his tie already loose. "Where's the food? Guests are asking when dinner will be served." One of the waiters said, "Sir, Eli did most of the cooking. No one else knows his recipes." Mia came in angry. "How hard can it be? Just put things in the oven. Heat them. Serve." She grabbed a pan with bare hands and almost dropped it because it was too hot. She bit her lip in pain. Grace stepped forward. "Madam, please let me try. I watched Eli." Mia snapped. "If anything goes wrong, it's on you." For the next 30 minutes it was chaos. Burnt vegetables. Overcooked pasta. Dry chicken. The camera shows close shots. A cake edges turning dark in the oven. A pot of rice sticking to the bottom. Mia's makeup shining with sweat. Grace's hands moving fast, almost trembling. In the hall, guests were getting impatient. One whispered, "They invited us for dinner. Where is the dinner?" Another said, "Maybe the food will be worth the wait." Mr. Carter looked at his watch, then at Daniel. He asked politely, "Is everything all right in the kitchen?" Daniel forced a laugh. Yes, just a small delay." But his eyes were nervous. Finally, the food was brought out. Trays of dishes were placed on the long table. At first glance, it looked fine. But when people started eating, one guest coughed. "This chicken is so dry." Another guest whispered, "The rice is burned." Lily took a bite of the sauce and frowned. "This can't be Eli's cooking. Something is wrong." Mr. Carter tasted quietly. His eyes darkened. He turned to a waiter and asked, "Where's your cook?" "Eli. I would like to speak with him." The waiter hesitated. He looked toward Grace. Grace's heart pounded. If she lied, the truth might still come out later. If she spoke, she might lose her job. She swallowed hard and said softly, "Sir, Eli is not here." Mr. Carter asked, "Why?" The whole table went quiet. Even the spoon in Mia's hand stopped in the air. Grace looked down and said, "Madam fired him 1 hour before the party." The words hung in the air like a bomb. Mia's face turned pale, then red. "Grace, how dare you?" Mr. Carter lifted his hand slightly. His calm voice cut through the noise. "Why did you fire him, Mrs. Mia?" Everyone was watching now. Mia tried to smile. "Oh, it was nothing. He made a small mistake. We can't accept low-quality work at this level, you know." Mr. Carter's eyes were steady on her face. "A small mistake?" he repeated. "You fired him for that? After 3 years of service?" Mia blinked. You know him?" Mr. Carter nodded slowly. "Yes, I know him. I know that he comes early, leaves late, and sends most of his money to his sick mother. I know he never wastes food. I know he once cooked for a full event alone when 2 helpers didn't show up. I know he cares." A silence fell over the table. Daniel looked at Mia with shock. I didn't know all that." Lily added softly, "Dad always talks about Eli. He says, real talent is often standing in a kitchen, not a boardroom." Mia's throat felt dry. Her hands were cold now. Mr. Carter leaned back in his chair. He said slowly, in front of everyone, "I was planning to offer Eli a position as head chef in my new hotel. I also came here tonight to see how you treat your staff before signing this business deal." Mia's heart dropped to the floor. If you were sitting at that table, what would you say to her now? Mr. Carter's voice hardened. "Call him back," he said. "Right now, in front of all of us. Or there is no deal." Will Mia swallow her pride? Or lose everything? Mia's hands shook as she held her phone. Her mind raced. If I don't call him, I lose Mr. Carter. I lose the deal. But if I call him, Everyone will know I was wrong. Her pride fought with her fear. Finally, fear won. She dialed Eli's number. The phone rang on a small table in a tiny, dim room. Eli sat on a thin mattress beside his mother. She was sleeping, her breath slow. A bottle of medicine stood almost empty. He looked at the screen. Mia's name. His stomach twisted. He thought, why is she calling me now? To insult me again? He cut the call. The phone rang again. This time, Grace's name flashed. Eli answered. Hello? His voice was tired. Grace's voice came fast, full of guilt. Eli, I'm so sorry. Please listen. The food is a disaster. Guests are complaining. Mr. Carter is angry. He knows you. He came here for you. He asked Madam to call you back. Eli was silent. In the background, he could hear plates clinking and voices. Grace continued, her voice shaking. Eli, if you don't come, they might cancel the deal. Everyone will blame the staff. Some of us might lose our jobs. Please, not for Madam, but for us. For me. For the other workers. Eli closed his eyes. He remembered how Mia shouted at him. How she called him nobody. He also remembered how Grace always saved him tea. How the driver shared news about his brother's exams. How the cleaner asked him about his mother. He was hurt, but he was not cold. He whispered, I will be there in 15 minutes. He stood up, kissed his mother's forehead, and said softly, I'll bring your medicine tomorrow, Amma. I promise. Back at the party, Mia waited by the main door, her heart pounding. Guests whispered, Is the cook really coming back? Mr. Carter sat calmly, but his eyes were fixed on the door. Finally, the security guard opened the gate. Eli walked in wearing the same faded shirt, now a bit more wet from the rain. He looked tired, but his back was straight. The camera shows slow-motion shots. His shoes stepping onto the shiny floor. Drops of water falling from his hair. Guests turning to look. Mia walked toward him. For the first time that day, her eyes were not sharp. They were scared. She tried to smile, but her lips trembled. Eli, she said, her voice small. I'm sorry about earlier. I lost my temper. I shouldn't have spoken like that. Can you help us finish the dinner? Eli looked at her. He could see the fear, the shame. He took a deep breath. Madam, he said calmly, I will cook, but not for the deal. Not for your image. I will cook because people in your kitchen are scared of losing their jobs. They did nothing wrong today. His words were simple, but they cut deep. Mia's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. He turned to the staff. Grace, come. You know my recipes. Let's do this together. The kitchen came alive again. Eli moved with speed and calm. He fixed the burnt rice by making fresh batches. He used herbs to hide some mistakes. He added butter to soften the dry chicken. He mixed a new sauce and threw the old one away. Grace watched him closely, learning every move. In a short time, the smell of good food filled the house again. At the table, guests took their first bites. This time, silence came for a different reason. Then smiles. One guest said, Now this is amazing. Another laughed. I was ready to leave, but now I want a second plate. Lily ate and whispered to her father. This is it. This is the food you were talking about. Mr. Carter nodded, his eyes warm. After dinner, he stood up and gently tapped his glass with a spoon. Everyone turned to him. He said, I want to say something. Mia felt her throat close. Mr. Carter continued, Tonight, your cook saved this party. Not your decorations. Not your fancy lights. A man you threw out 1 hour before your guests arrived. All eyes turned to Eli, who stood near the kitchen door, his hands still wet from washing. Mr. Carter beckoned him. Eli, come here. Eli walked slowly to the center. Mr. Carter put a hand on his shoulder. In front of everyone, he said, I want to offer you a position as head chef in my new hotel, with a very good salary. And respect. Gasps around the room. Mia's knees almost gave way. Eli's eyes filled with tears. Sir, I don't know what to say. Just say yes, Lily smiled. Eli nodded, emotional. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Carter turned to Mia and Daniel. And now, he said, his voice firm, about our deal. I do not sign deals with people who treat their workers like trash. Money can't cover bad character. Mia felt like the floor had disappeared. Her lips trembled. Please, Mr. Carter. This was a mistake. I said sorry. We can fix. He shook his head. You fired a man like he was nothing. In front of everyone. That tells me who you are when no one is watching. I will not invest in that. He looked at Daniel. I hope you both learn something tonight. Then he turned back to Eli. I invest in people like him, he said, because they know real value. He walked out with Lily beside him. Guests followed slowly, whispering. Some looked at Eli with respect. Some looked at Mia with judgment. Soon, the grand hall was almost empty. Only Mia, Daniel, Eli, Grace, and a few staff were left. The house, which had been full of noise, now felt heavy and quiet. Mia sank into a chair. Her hands covered her face. For the first time, she was not angry. She was broken. Tears slipped through her fingers. "I ruined everything," she whispered. "Because of my ego. Because I thought I was better." Daniel stood behind her, his voice low. "You didn't just lose a deal, Mia. You lost people's respect. You hurt someone who never hurt you." Slowly, Mia stood up and walked to Eli. She looked him in the eyes. There were no guests now. No fake smile. No camera. Just a woman who had done wrong. And a man she had crushed. She swallowed and said, "Eli, I am truly sorry. Not because I lost the deal. Not because Mr. Carter saw. I'm sorry because I spoke to you like you were dirt. You are not. You are better than me today." Her voice broke on the last words. Eli looked at her for a long moment. He could see her shame, her regret. He said softly, "I forgive you, madam, not because you deserve it, but because I don't want to carry this pain in my heart." A tear fell down Mia's cheek. "Will you stay?" she asked weakly. "We still need you." Eli shook his head gently. "I have a new job now," he said. "A big chance. I can take care of my mother and my brother. I'm grateful for the time I worked here. I learned a lot, but some doors need to close." He took off his apron one last time and put it on the counter. He smiled sadly at Grace. "You'll do great. You have a good heart. That's the first ingredient." He nodded at Daniel. "Goodbye, sir." Then he walked out through the same door he had left earlier that evening. But this time his back was not bent. He walked into the night with a new future. Inside, Mia stood in the empty hall. The decorations were still there. The lights were still on. But nothing looked rich anymore. Only her guilt was heavy. Final message/moral. Sometimes people think money makes them bigger than others. But the real difference between rich and poor is not money. It is how we treat people who can't fight back. Have you ever seen someone insult a worker like this in real life? Remember, the person you look down on today might be the one standing above you tomorrow.